What's going on? Captain Paul, Talking Shit Podcast here. If you enjoyed this video or enjoy all the rest of our videos, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be awesome. I greatly appreciate it. Is a black person a race traitor if they become a police officer? Now, this is stemming from a friend of mine, Lutch, who had a kind of an interesting stream video series regarding someone's take about an officer being black and how he's kind of a race traitor. And I thought it was kind of an interesting take. Me and my co-host, who won't really talk on this issue because I think it cuts him deeper, so I think it was an interesting take by both sides in this. I could slightly understand where someone comes from if they come from the black community, where in some cases they've been, unjustifiably killed or maimed or harmed. I would say kind of characterized in a way where they're always kind of like, and this is this is some people's words, not mine, like thugs or goons or something of that nature. And there's always going to be that negative connotation for a lot of black people when it comes to police, whether that be justified or unjustifiably sowed. Unfortunately, some bad apples, ruin the whole fucking core, ruin the whole bunch. Now, I think we get into dangerous territory. We're just going to call someone a race traitor because they choose a profession that may necessarily not be traditionally accepted within a community. And, this is my standpoint on it. Is there bad police officers? Is there bad police departments in the country? Absolutely. I think you'd be blind to say there isn't certain police departments in this country that are corrupt and don't necessarily have the best intent for people of different shades of color. I will say there's more police department and police officers that are out there that just want to do their job, do their 9 to 5, and stand by their everyday citizen and just make sure people are safe and, not harming others in the community. There's a lot of great police officers that just do their job and have a family and kind of, positively affect the community. And I guess from this is that, like, what some black people's interpretation of police force is that it was, and this is it's one of those things, it's a gray area. They say, like, police departments were formed from slave catchers. If you're saying about the South, historically, yes, a lot of slave catchers turned into policing. They turned into that line of work in the South. But to say all of policing in America was, formed by police catchers is just wildly disingenuous and not true. You had constables even shoot way back in the day in England. There's always been some form of policing because you need to enforce law and order. It's one of those things that, it will come up to creep on you. When you don't hold people accountable, more crime will happen. If there's no punishment for vile acts, people will just keep committing them. We've seen that time and time again, and that's why in certain states in this country it's not great to live in, because judges and district attorneys don't want to charge these people that the police bring in, let them off scot-free, and then they become repeat offenders and yada yada. It's a vicious cycle. Some of the first policing was obviously in New England because that's where, we first formed the colonies. And it wasn't formed from, slave catchers. That's just verifiably just not factual. That's just not the case. I think when it comes down to policing in America, we can have a real discussion when it comes down to for-profit prison systems and how I feel like minor offenses like some weed or some stuff get a little out of hand in certain states. We can really have a real discussion about that, and I'm saying this in a certain way. I think in America we have a problem with the prison system, and you can see the stories, is that, the inmates do run the asylum. They do some vile shit to each other in those facilities, and there's got to be some form of, I think there's just some form of getting better control. I don't know how you would do that. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a genius. I'm not the person or the man to come up with that determination. But, maybe if we found some way of having those inmates kind of utilize their time in a more beneficial way, I think that'd be better. But getting back to policing, I don't think it's right to judge a man on his profession. I mean, for example, my profession alone, they're known to be drinkers, they're known to be man whores, go to bar, fuck a bunch of women, leave a bunch of single mothers and stuff of that nature. That's what sailors are known as. But when you actually get to know the core group, it's like a lot of us just have, a lot of us wives, a lot of us have kids, a lot of us just want to live our day to day. We'll work our long shifts, we'll work our long hitches because we want to support our family and we want to live a very comfortable life. And so I have firsthand experience when it comes to perception versus reality. It was amusing to me that some people are like, oh yeah, you guys must just be drinking all the time, must be wild. I'm like, no, it's the furthest thing from the truth. We have so many regulations that you get too much Listerine in your friggin' mouth, you could pop and get kicked off the boat, it seems like. I think there's this negative connotation with a lot of police departments, and I just don't think some of it's justified. Certain departments like Aurora, Colorado, where they have a really fucking horrific track record, we can have an honest conversation and say there's some vile shit that's happened there that should have not happened there. But to say every single police department is like that is just not true. And on a closing note, and I would love to hear and see some comments or some other videos, and I'd like to have the conversation growing. And I mean this to black people, is that how do you expect to change the system if you're not willing to get involved? That one person going wanting to do a change and then they'll feel overwhelmed, and I can get that. But how could you make policing more effective? How could you make policing, I would say, less discriminatory? Is you yourself get involved. If you want to see your community affected in a positive manner, you would be the one signing up to these jobs. Because unfortunately, a lot of police departments are understaffed. I mean, if you truly gave a shit about your community, that a lot of black people say they do, and a lot of white people employers say the same shit, well, go down the road, become a police officer, and, kind of truly get yourself involved in the community and, try to affect it in a positive manner. I would have to say I have a lot of respect for a lot of people that will go into a field to try to, positively affect it in a good way. And I apologize if this is a little bit rambly. I'm a little tired. Long day thus far. You can only be the change that you see in the world. It's not going to change by itself. It's not going to change by magic. If black people truly want to see things in a positive manner, they want policing to be better, then you should get involved in the policing situation. And at least that's my perspective. Maybe I could be way off. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. For Captain Paul, this is TSP. Like I said, if you enjoyed it, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'd be definitely interested in some type of dialogue. And I'm out.